You're welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate giving me some time to be in your space. I'm not taking it for granted. Thank you so much. So once again, this is The Widow's Mind, a graceful journey. My name is Rita Ubebo Ni Enajepo. So for those joining me for the first time, just an intro here. I'm telling my story as a widow online for people to understand that they can be helped. So I've been a widow for about over 12 years and it's been a graceful journey, with 3 children. So I just come in here to reach out to anyone who may have had to restart life for whatever reason, maybe a loss of job, a business, a divorce, a separation, a loss of a loved one, or some maybe because you moved from your location, maybe you relocated to somewhere else and you find out that it's not as easy as you thought it was going to be in that new place. So I'm just sharing some life tips, some lesson points from my own life. So these are by no means professional. They are just my choices. So like I always tell to everyone, I chose to go through the path of God, who is the Almighty. So that's the help that I get is from Him. So people, like I say, if you go through anything, have something that you can, hold on to, that you can go for help. For me, that something was God. So I'm not intimidated. I'm not shy to share that my experience. They are spiritually driven. My experiences were spiritually driven. I never went into any form of tutelage or a professional setting to be told how to even come to do this thing to you. No, I didn't. So back to today's episode. So I'm looking at naming today to be nipping it at its bud. So either you can say that, or a stitch in time saves 9. So back to this journey. So after the burial, sitting in the car waiting for everyone to come out and we will leave, and we already had planned that we'll have lunch for my family and a few people that came around. We'll go to a restaurant and eat. So just in the car, I had some thoughts with the incident that I saw at the funeral, at the graveside, where somebody didn't let me lean on his shoulder. It shrugged me off, or the fact that there was a contention about who to pour the sand, to put the shovel in, the first shovel of sand, and the text messages that I had received, soon after he passed, those anonymous text messages asking me to return their children to First Stack and all that. So I decided that now that I have my family around, maybe we should actually just go visit them. So I told my sister and his best friend, I said, look, I want us to go to their house from here. So my sister was like, Rita, are you okay? I said, well, yeah. So eventually after the lunch, we decided to drive down to the house, which was not very far from Festa. So we got to the place. Remember, in the first week of his passing, when I went to tell the elder in his family, I will call him Baba Mile 2. So I went with his best friend to go and inform this elder. This man is the oldest man in their family, I think in his father's side, that is in Lagos. So it was easier for me to. And I already had a rapport with him when my husband was alive. We used to go visit them. And so I went with his best friend to see him. And that day, if you watched my other video, he said to me, Rita, my wife, that you even remembered, you honored me to come and tell me that your husband has passed. I appreciate this, and nobody in his family has told him. He's been hearing feelers from here and there, but no one has respected him enough to, or even honored him to come and. So he said, when the time comes, I would support you, I will stand by you. So that day, it wasn't at my husband's funeral, of course he's older. So that day, after the lunch, we moved to their house. Now they were not expecting us. They didn't think anybody would come. So we got there amidst some empty canopies and chairs around. It wasn't like there was anything going on, but we just got in, and immediately we got there, everyone started coming out. They sat with us. One thing that happened that day that is remarkable is how when we got there, someone sent a message to him. So that elderly man came in and he welcomed us. He said, I remember he called us my beautiful in-laws. you're welcome. Now, remember, there were in between people with different, mindset and attitude towards me and my household, my family when he passed. So that the atmosphere was not really friendly, but he came up and he welcomed us, my mom, my sister, their husbands and everything. And then right there, questions, the natural thing would be to ask the widow, what happened to your husband? So my husband's elder sister stood up immediately to talk, to question me. So he said no, that he wasn't going to go like that. So he just stood up and said, you sit down. So he asked. So I told him the story, the 5 days illness that eventually took his life. And I told him also that I had talked, everyone was carried along. So it wasn't like my husband was ill and I was just minding my business. No, everyone, even at the hospital, from the first day we said they're going around hospital, his elder sister was there, his 2 younger brothers were there, my mom was there. In fact, on my side, it was only my mom that was there. So we all saw what happened. So after that, he said, okay, anyone who has any questions should ask. So she stood up at that point, so I keep telling you guys that it's women that do women. When they're in my part of the world, women seem to be the ones that trigger those ills when there's a loss, make your in-laws come after you. So she stood up, she said, that they didn't know what I was going through. I didn't tell them anything, and so it happened. So while she was saying that, my own elder sister was there and she was like, excuse me. She stood up. Now it was almost like a battle between 2 women, one on that side, one on my side. She said, sorry, so if you're seeing your brother coming to your house every day when he was ill, I would drop him off at their house and go to work, because he couldn't stay at home. He wasn't staying at home alone. And my daughter too, who was in school at that time, said, Mommy, I don't want to go home when Daddy's at home because he will be in pain. My husband was having lots of nightmares. We didn't know what. Anyway, like I always say, if I knew what I know now, then, spiritually, my husband would not have died. We were not in the right spiritual setting, church-wise. We didn't have the spiritual prowess that I have today. No way. But it's past, and that's the last that the devil will ever attack me on, ever, yeah. So my sister asked her, if you see your sister-in-law is doing things and you're not, it's like asking her, my sister, what thing they do you? What's going on? Can I give you, something for your pain, or just assist? Did you ask? No, you didn't. But when they invited you to the hospital, you were at the hospital. So when the comment you passed at the hospital saying that you will ask, the family will ask Rita what she went to do, what happened to your brother when he went to Warri. Okay, so my sister said it right there. He said, know what? He came to Warri to take over my shop. I got another job to Port Harcourt. So my shop and the staff of my shop, I handed over to him, plus a plot of land to start up, because at that time he wasn't doing anything and they were concerned. And then even Rita's job was ready to move her by January of 2013 to that area. So they were going to start. That was the plan. And I handed over to him only for him to return, and this happened. So the whole family, now my sister said this so that everybody will have a common knowledge. It's not what she tells them that they would know. And so yeah, that was quite timely. I didn't even think she was going to do that. Now, after everything, the elderly man said something. He said, the elderly man stood up again and said, so my wife, first of all, thank you for coming to tell me, because he now told him that Rita came to inform him about the demise of my husband. So he is today applauding me openly, and he also said that there were some things I told him then that day I came to see him. Can I repeat it here? I said yes. About some text messages. So I said yes. So I stood up. I think they asked me to sit. So I explained the text messages, the anonymous text messages asking me to return the children to First Stack, those kind. He said, so he asked everybody here, now you have heard everything. Does anybody have any question to ask this woman? And the whole place was quiet. The place was quiet like a graveyard. And so he said, now, since nobody has asked her any question, today, as the most senior in this family, I put my foot down. I said, anyone who cannot ask her any question about her husband's death right now, you can see she's young with young children. My children were between 8 and 13, 3 of them. He said, so nobody should ever call Rita to attack her or to question her. If you cannot see the need to help her, then keep away from her. Because I've asked the question openly. If you cannot ask any question today to clarify what happened to Bennett or Emeke, then forever remain silent. Nobody should ask her any question again. And no anybody who cannot see the need to help her with 3 children, then it's okay. My wife, he called me. I will support you. The family will be by your side in this season, and I pray that God will give you help. And your beautiful family, I pray they will be there for you. That nobody should be left alone at this time. So yeah, so people, that was the day of the funeral. And guess what? Like I always say, I believe that I'm gifted in the spirit of wisdom. So for me to drag my family to that house, to my in-laws' house that day, was remarkable, and it was quite timely. So the truth is, after that day, nobody has come to question how I raise my children or say things to me about, my in-law. No, nobody. And in fact, the distance has been so clear that 1 year after, for the the memorial service, I took my time and invited every one of my husband's siblings, from the first to the last. Separate text messages. And no one responded. But one of his brothers, the first brother now, responded on behalf of everyone, said, oh, yes, we are aware that go ahead, and without us, everybody's busy. So he gave excuse for every one of his siblings, but they are with me in spirit. Those were his messages to me. I wish I had an iPhone back then. I would have saved the message. So yeah, and so Thanksgiving came. My family went to church with me. I think his friend was there, somebody from my, we did 1 year's anniversary. Then after that, the following week, my children were around. That same week, I drove up to my in-laws' house. This is 1 year after the burial. And they were surprised. I came with my children. My children, it's so funny how children go. My son had added some height. And they came out. I remember something happened that day. The youngest brother, who is literally my first son, but he started staying with me before I started having kids. He came to stay with us. He started weeping, was crying. And Rita, I'm sorry. And Rita, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Then the elder sister came, half hair done, half, she was coming from the salon. And she said, Rita, you came. I said, yes, it's 1 year. Those guys were sorry. She may not have pleaded, but his young brother, the last born, pleaded with me and said so. In fact, he gave money to my son and his sisters. I told them, look, we're family. I'm still, funny thing, we're still living around the same axis. So people, my point on this video is, have an ally. That elderly man was my ally. I already supported my husband's last brother. I call him my first son. And he realized I didn't push back those text messages or push evil for evil. That's something as women we have to learn. Women, the Bible says the heart of man is desperately wicked. I think it tells a lot about us women. When a woman wants to love, she can love you with everything. When she wants to hate, she pushes it so hard. So God knows, after that visit, they returned our visit. I was at work one Saturday and my parents said, oh, your in-laws came. They bought plantain, they bought pineapple, they even offered that I should come and send the children to them for weekend. My mom said, yeah, that will come. My father brought wine. He said, my in-laws, you're welcome. Yeah. So have an ally. Is teach in time saves nine, meaning I didn't let that thing between us, my in-laws and I, to go beyond the burial day. In fact, the elderly man said something. He said, Bennett has been buried and all the issues around all this, he's been buried with him. So nobody can raise it up. That was something he said that day. So I'm excited to tell you guys that there is help. And in the midst of your crying, your weeping, you lost something, let God give you wisdom so that you can speak only when you need to speak and speak the right things. I've been in this journey for over 12 years. I have seen God move mountains on my behalf, not just with in-laws, with my place of work, my profession, with immigration, relocating, with raising children, raising a male child. That is talk for another day. So yeah, I like just have an ally within your office space, within your in-laws, within your family. Have somebody that you can just go to and say, this is it. Yeah, it's something that everybody should have. And then if you need to teach is nip it at its bud, nip it at its buds before it grows to become one wild flower, one wild shrub. Nip it as it. But we killed that thing with my in-laws the day we buried my late husband. And that for me opened, gave me more space and gave me the freedom and gave me the space to to move without looking at if someone they didn't come near me again. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm grateful again, and I would come back again with another. Like I said, most of these things are excerpts from my book, The Widow's Might. It's not just maybe I'll eventually change the name, I'm not sure, because it's about to come. When you say the people who read it might just be widows, so I'm getting a way around getting a name that will give me leverage, so people to read and understand that there's help once you look. Thank you so much for watching. I'm grateful. Thank you for giving me your space. Yeah, and I'm also excited. I just took off my braces, so it'll be good to have an apple bite. Have a great day. Bye.